is just get back up. It's not that you're perfect. I don't expect for you to be perfect, but I do look for progress, and I encourage the teenagers to keep moving forward. Understand that above anything else, the profit in any Christian's life, but especially in focusing on teenagers tonight, their profit will come in a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Understand, I'm a youth pastor. The teenagers that I work with now, I've taught them to have a relationship with Christ. But if their relationship is based on me, what happens if I'm gone? But if their relationship is with Jesus Christ, He'll never leave them nor forsake them. He's never going to disappear. All they have is to look forward to eternity with Him. So there's no doubt He's not turning back. So if their relationship is with Him, they'll always progress forward. So the first stabilizing force in the life of a teenager is that they have a personal relationship with the Lord. Then secondly, a profitable rearing in the home. Go with me to 1 Samuel chapter 1. In 1 Samuel chapter 1, look down at verse 19. Talking about Hannah, who is Samuel's mother. Let me just give you a brief background here. Hannah was Samuel's mother. She was barren. She wasn't able to have children. And so she was very disturbed about this. In those days, it was a shame to a woman to not be able to bear children. And so she had gone into the temple. She had prayed earnestly before the Lord. She had prayed so fervently, no words actually came out. But as she sat there and prayed, as her lips moved, but nothing could come out, you can imagine that she was broken before the Lord. Eli, the priest, he comes in and he sees Hannah praying, and he thinks that she's drunk because she's talking, she's just rambling, and he thinks that she's just crazy. And so, thinking that she's drunk, Eli walks up to her and he says, "Woman, this is not the place for this to be going on. How dare you disgrace God's house by coming in here drunk?" She explains to him, "No, my Lord, I'm neither drunk wine nor strong drink, but I've poured out my soul before the Lord. I'm burdened about something, Eli, and I'm begging that the Lord would provide for me a child." So as he realizes that this woman's relationship with the Lord was sincere, he tells her the Lord will remember you. And so she commits that she would, if the Lord were to give her a child, that she would give him back to the Lord. And so as she does, we come to verse 19. "And they rose up in the morning early and worshipped before the Lord and returned and came to their house to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and the Lord remembered her. Wherefore it came to pass, when the time was come about after Hannah had conceived, that she bare a son, and called his name Samuel, saying, Because I have asked him of the Lord. And the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer unto the Lord the yearly sacrifice and his vow. But Hannah went not up, for she said unto her husband, I will not go up until the child be weaned, and then I will bring him, that he may appear before the Lord, and there abide forever. And Elkanah her husband said unto her, Do what seemeth thee good. Tarry until thou have weaned him. Only the Lord establish his word. So the woman abode and gave her son suck until she weaned him. And when she had weaned him, she took up with her 3 bullocks and 1 ephah of flour and a bottle of wine, and brought him unto the house of the Lord in Shiloh. And the child was young, and they slew a bullock, and brought the child to Eli. And she said, O my Lord, as thy soul liveth, my Lord, I am the woman that stood by thee here, praying unto the Lord. For this child I prayed, and the Lord hath given me my petition which I asked of him. Therefore also I have lent him to the Lord. As long as he liveth, he shall be lent to the Lord. And he worshiped the Lord there." Listen, the second greatest stabling factor in the life of a teenager is going to be a profitable rearing in the home. Understand what a child meant to Hannah. That she would pour out her heart before the Lord. That she would beg of God that God would provide that desire of her heart. She willingly gave him to the Lord. She knew that that was God's blessing in her life, and so she offered up thanks by giving her son back to the Lord to serve him. Really, who was Hannah? Anything special? Anything that really, aside from this particular scenario, what did she accomplish in life? But if you look, Samuel would go on to stand before kings, to stand before great prophets of the Lord. Samuel accomplished great things for the Lord. It began with a mother who poured her heart out before the Lord for her child, who interceded before the throne of grace to say, Lord, give me this child. I can't help but think that she would ask so fervently of the Lord and not desire that the Lord would use him for great things. You see, when parents have a heart to see their teens draw close to the Lord, that's going to be reflected in their life. So many times it's really the exception to the rule that a teenager coming from a home where the parents just don't care about the things of the Lord, that they would really take that as a top priority, that I'm to serve the Lord with my life. I say it's the exception, but it's exceptional. When the Lord takes a hold of a heart and draws them close, just because the parent doesn't necessarily draw close to the Lord does not hinder a teenager. Understand that. I'm not saying it's not possible. But what I'm saying is, when a parent has a desire to see their teenager rise up and serve the Lord with their life, when that's their goal and their ambition, that has a great impact on the life of a teenager. If you haven't heard, we're expecting our first child August 28th. We're under 6 weeks away from our due date, and so getting ready for that. My wife is from Texas, and I'm from Philadelphia, and so that causes some problems for us when it comes to the Eagles and Cowboys and such. I am very inclined to cheer for the Eagles ever so slightly, not so intense maybe. Just kidding, I'm very intense about it. But understand, when that question comes up, who is Kylie going to cheer for? That's an easy, done answer. Because now, I don't want to take this out of context or abuse this, but as the head of the home, this is Bible, but as the head of the home, and with an intensity level that multiplies compared to my wife, it's already a settled issue. Kylie will cheer for Philadelphia teams. It's just, I thought about, well, should we let her cheer for teams where we live and let her grow up cheering for the home team? Should we let her go with her mom? But that was a quick answer. But ultimately, because my enthusiasm is focused in one direction, that inevitably will have a great impact on the way that my daughter grows up cheering for sports teams. It will. I will make that happen. But the bottom line is something as silly as sports that really don't matter in the long scheme of things. If my intensity for the Flyers or the Eagles or the Phillies, the Sixers and what have you, if my intensity for that can carry over to my daughter, how much more do you think my fervency to serve the Lord? When she sees what a parent's priorities are, and I'm thankful for a church with a pastor like Pastor Whitmer that teaches sound doctrine. If all of you came tonight and heard the explanation of communion, that was profitable to our lives tonight. That was helpful. Thankful for parents that have a heart to have their kids in church on Sunday night. I know I'm preaching to the choir when I say these things, but understand, Hannah had a heart for the Lord, had a heart to see Him pleased with her life, and it carried over very strongly into the life of Samuel, who would stand again before kings, before great prophets, that would do great things for the Lord. And so we see that a stabilizing factor is a personal relationship with the Lord, a profitable rearing in the home. But then finally turn to Matthew 10. The third stabilizing factor in the life of a teenager is a practical realization of the world.